hit me again. Wow, again. So now I'm looking at him, but he has this look on his face, and it was demonic. But it was like a I got you look, like a, you know what I mean? Like, everything. You can see a person in hell and know why they're there. There's no time there. There's no time that you have to take to learn because everything is connected. So you know that you know. All they do is torture. They say if your arm gets ripped off, your arm will grow right back. Rejuvenate. And it happens over and over and over again. I'm trying to get up. Then all of a sudden, I felt something grab my head. And I could see the claw. This thing had to be used. And it threw me.
So recently, guys, I have been into learning about near-death experiences and about the testimonies of the people who go through them. There are a few studies that have been done, man, on near-death experiences, even a few books wrote about them, man. From what I understand, about 80% of them all have somewhat similar, the same style of story, whether it is a story of going to a place of light or a story of going to a place of darkness, man. And learning about these near-death experiences is about the closest we can get to experiencing and understanding death and what happens after death here on earth. That journey to one or the other, man, it varies differently, dramatically. And I want to share a story with you guys today by a gentleman named Dominic Morrow, man. He was shot twice and went to hell. And his testimony, experience, and what he saw, man, it's an eye-opener, and I want to share it with you guys. Today's video is from the channel Know Christ, guys. Definitely give them a like and subscribe, man, if their content blesses you in any way, and support their channel, guys. But with that being said, hi guys, my name is Dez. This is Spirit Led with Dez, a channel solely designed to help you be led and walk with the Holy Spirit in everything that you do. So thank you for being here today, guys. And with that being said, let's hop into today's video.
So we're coming up to the moment now where you were shot,
Yes.
right? And then you had
Oh,
the
yeah.
experience, right? Lead us up to the moment where you got shot, and then
Sure.
what happened after that?
Sure, it was 2009. By then, I had some money, and every weekend we go to the clubs. We go to the clubs looking for girls. We're smoking some weed. We're drinking in their life, right? So for us, it's a tradition to go get new clothes. You go to the club, you got to have a new outfit. So me and my friend, we're gonna go shopping during the day. We go shopping, but I kept seeing this one guy. Okay, first we went to the clothing store. I come out, he's sitting on his car. And this is something in my spirit says something is not right about this guy. But I looked at him. He said, "What's up?" And said, "Okay, what's up?" We go to another store. I come out. He's outside the second store, way on the other side of our district. Just like it's no way you can keep running to the same person. So I thought it was. Wait a minute. Now my spirit really was tugging on me. Like something is up with this guy. So again, I looked and he said he's sitting on his car outside of the store. So I tapped my friend and said, "Hey man, this man is following us." This guy, and my friend laughed. He was like, "Dude, you're not that important. Nobody following you, man. Quit it. You're nobody to be thinking about. Stop it. You're paranoid." Okay, I brushed it off. So later on, I come out 2 or 3 hours later, we're dressed. I'm ready to go out. I come outside the building. Guess who's standing there? The same guy. So this time I said, okay, I'm about to question this guy and ask him, do I know him from somewhere? Where is he from? You know what I mean? Because enough is enough at this point. My spirit is telling me I need to find out what's going on. As I'm walking and approaching the guy, he had a cigar in his mouth. And he said, "Do you have a lighter on you?" I said, "Yeah." And so as I'm reaching in my pocket, I saw a green flash. It's the first thing I really remember. It was a green flash. Okay. Now it just seems like I don't know if things go in slow motion. When your body experiences traumatic experiences, you either black out or time slows down for you. Okay, and I'm noticing how God put that in as a safety mechanism for your body, for us, so we won't be over traumatized by the experience. But as I look up, I smell like I don't know if you know what matches. Like if you would burn a whole book of matches, like the sulfuric smell.
Yeah.
That's what I smelled. But as I look up to him, and he hit me again. Wow, again. So now I'm looking at him, but he has this look on his face, and it was demonic. But it was like a "I got you" look, like a, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But the second time I fall back, as soon as I'm falling back, I feel myself falling forward.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. So before he goes into, man, I'm assuming where he actually experiences going into hell, man, he's just, wow, that's a crazy story, man. And that's all too often how it happens, man. You're just minding your business, and unfortunately, if you're in the gangs and into those type of things, man, you rub across people the wrong way, or you affiliate with the wrong gang. People tend to mark you and want to harm you, man. And unfortunately, he was out enjoying himself, man, trying to have a good time to his best abilities, man, living in the world, but trying to have a good time, man. And this gentleman's following him and ultimately puts 2 bullets in him. And man, it's wild, man, to think of how he explained once he was shot, things slowed down, kind of like a slow motion effect. And he was able to even see the guy's demonic smile behind after being shot twice, man, which is crazy. But let's keep watching.
It's hard to explain. I'm falling back, but yet I can feel myself falling forward, and instantly, it was instantaneous. It was just like that. I was in darkness. But like I described before, this darkness is not a darkness like here on earth. It's not like you can blindfold yourself, like you can put yourself underneath the earth, super blindfold yourself and dig deeper. And it's still, this darkness is alive. You understand? It had a spiritual component to it, to where I felt that it was all over me, like it was holding me. But as I'm falling down, I can't even calculate the speed. But as I'm falling, the more I'm falling, the more I'm feeling things getting stripped away from me. Meaning such as like hope, love, all the stuff that we take for granted here that we don't realize that come from God, they're stripped from you as you're falling to this place. Okay? I want people to be aware. Don't take anything for granted. Because as I was falling, it's beyond, like I was saying before, at first, the terror. It's not fear, it's terror, and it's alive. It's a spirit. It's alive in that place. In the darkness, it's alive. It was alive. It was like the darkness had a consciousness of its own, and it was stripping me of everything good. So as I'm falling, it's so fast, and I can't even think clear, but I'm falling because people don't understand. Just say, for example, if you're here conscious, like we're talking right now, we're communicating, and then all of a sudden you're taken to just a whole nother place instantly. It's instantaneous. There's no slow build up to it. There's no nothing there. It's boom. Okay. And I'm falling, and I'm feeling this fear, but the speed of the fallingness, I can't even explain it in words, no matter what language, no matter what. It's spiritual. It's a spiritual component to everything. Now that in hindsight, the more that I'm mature in my spirit, I'm realizing that it is all spiritual. The spiritual life, I was in my spiritual body. Okay. I'm falling. Now, the first thing that hit me was this smell. The smell. But see, people don't understand. I'm going to explain it again. When you pass away, you don't lose your 5 senses. Sight, hear, touch, taste. No. They heightened. They get more potent. So they raise times 1,000,000. So you become more sensitive. They don't go anywhere. They get stronger. So like if you were to smell this smell right now, the smell that I was smelling, there's no way your body would be able to take it here on this earth. There's no sewer, no dead bodies, no dead animals, rotting flesh. There's nothing that can compare to this smell. Okay. It is so bad. It is just, but as I'm falling, I'm just like, it's just overwhelming, the smell. And then all of a sudden I see a little light. It's a little light, because this darkness is so dark. You can see the light on like a top of a pinhead. It's bright compared to this darkness. So to see that little light, I'm thinking, but as I'm going, I'm falling, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Then all of a sudden I felt heat. I can feel heat coming from this light. But I wasn't even now that I'm looking at it, I wasn't even paying attention to the heat because I was so scared. I'm smelling this smell, but I'm starting to see it looking like a big portal. But this portal looked like it was rocks. Okay. That's what I want to explain to people. Hell is here on earth, but it's in a different dimension. Okay. Just like when I start learning scientific principles on different dimensions, it makes complete sense. Just like I'm sitting here right now, but there's different frequencies going through me that I can't even see, like microwaves, radio waves, all types of things, but they're vibrating on a different frequency. So you can have 2 places in one space because of different dimensions. So hell is on earth, but it's in a different dimension. All right. Yes. So now as I'm falling and I'm seeing this this portal, and it's open. As it opened now, I'm pretty much right there, and I can see every detail. Now remember, your senses are heightened. You can see a molecule if you wanted to, if you focus and zoom in on it. I mean, that's how pinpoint accurate your senses are in the spiritual body. Now I'm looking, and it's rocks, like stones, ancient rocks, caverns, but I fall through and I hit the bottom. Now, when I hit the bottom,
So the opening is like rocks.
yes,
like a circular.
it's like you're entering the cave system.
Okay.
It's like I was falling into an ancient cave system. That's the best way I can describe it. But the rocks were glowing. Everything on the rocks was so hot. They were like yellow, orange, white. They were hot. They were so heated. That's the little light that I was seeing. When I got there, I knew exactly that was that opening. So when I hit the bottom, I mean, I slammed so hard, but I didn't even feel that pain like that, because when I tried to move, I was so more worried. I was like, I was just panicking so bad. I tried to move and I couldn't move the way we move here. It felt like I was wearing a big heavy suit, like I was weighed like 900 pounds. So just like I'm moving my arms now and I can do this and that.
It's because he was stripped of that strength from God. He was stripped of those gifts from God, because that's what they are essentially. The ability to breathe and to receive that daily breath in the morning. All those things, man, are gifts from God. And essentially, when you're in that place, hell, you're as furthest away from God as you can be. So that means you are stripped of all those gifts that he gives you to as well here on earth, man. So, wow, that's crazy to think. As he's falling, he's stripped of all those things to the point when he gets to hell, he is as furthest away from God, and literally the strength that he was receiving to just be able to move his arm like he was explaining. It's gone. It's gone. That is crazy.
No. First of all, you feel like instantly I felt I had no energy. And what that was, now that I realize, is that we're so used to being in our physical body. We're so used to things of our physical nature. Like I couldn't breathe. When I was trying to breathe, it was like I couldn't even breathe. It's because I wasn't breathing in the first place. There's no oxygen in that place. But we're so used to being here, just like we're breathing now, we're unconsciously breathing. So I thought I was trying to breathe. So that makes my anxiety there even worse, because you're so used to being in this flesh. You think you have fleshly movement. It doesn't work that way. You're stripped of everything. Remember, you're stripped of everything God gave you. So even having movement, even that comes from God. See, we don't realize that. Even breathing and just feeling, that comes from God. But that was stripped. You get stripped of all of that by the time you make it there.
Were you thinking about outside at all, or
No,
you weren't even thinking about the earth?
No,
you were just focused on this place.
Yeah, you don't. You're so petrified. You're so scared. You're not thinking about anything here. You're not thinking about a person. You're not thinking at that moment. You're not thinking about anything. I was so shocked and going through in the fear and the anxiety and just everything. You're not thinking. That's the last thing you're thinking about. You're not thinking about any of those things.
So when you realized where you were, what happened next?
I'm trying to get up, and it was so dark. It was just as dark, but all of a sudden, the only thing that illuminated that place, the first thing I saw before me were the pits, and they were like flames were coming up, and then you can see when these flames come up. That's how you can see. But when the first pit lit up, I saw it had to be thousands, as far as your eye can see, of these pits, and they were connected in rows, but they would go so far, like. I mean, it had to be miles and miles and miles of these pits. But inside these pits, there were people, okay? But what really caught my attention before I describe the people in the pits were these beasts around all the pits. They were like giants. Some of them were like, and they all had a reptilian kind of theme to them. They all looked like reptile, nasty, deformed. Some of them had long arms, short arm with a long arm, bodies. But the giants that I saw, someone had to be like 13 to 18 feet tall. I mean, huge. I'm talking about ripped up muscles, huge. I mean, they were
humanoid. Were they humanoids?
Humanoid, yes. They had legs. They had arms. They had, chest muscles. They were very humanoid, but not even close to humans. Not even. They were so ugly, and the smell that I was smelling, they stink. It was them. It was them. Like yeah.
It was them. It was the demons that stuck, man. They smelled like that SpongeBob noise, man. But yeah, that's wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. So I guess we know where the term from the pits of hell comes from, because this gentleman literally saw pits in hell filled with people in them, man. That is wild.
They stink. They horrible smell to them. Horrible smell. And a lot of them smell like sulfur too. Like that's why a lot of people who I've talked to who had experiences with demons, they always smell like a sulfuric smell. They stink. They smell bad. They smell they're horrible. But then I also saw demons as tall as this pen. They small. You got some, they all sizes, all shapes, all sizes, but they had some of them had red eyes, some of them had yellow eyes with the slits in them, you know, and some of their skins was scaly. Like I said, they had that reptile, like the reptilian type look. But some of them didn't have the reptile look. Some of them were just so deformed and ugly, hairy. It just it just didn't make sense. Some of them were just so disproportionate, it didn't make any sense.
Did they notice you when you fell?
No, not right away. Not right away. One of them did, and that's how I look back, because I never saw the Lord. I never saw the Lord. But now that I look back, he had to be with me to be protecting me, because
Okay.
the hatred that they have for us, it is beyond description. It is beyond words. They hate. There's no form of hate here on this planet that can even get close to how they feel about us. They hate you so bad, you can feel it. The energy will kill you. If their hatred was in the form of a weapon, here on earth, you would die. You would die. They hate. When I say hate, hate is an understatement.
Wow, and that's crazy. And I would even hypothesize that the reason that they hate us so bad is, you know, essentially, I feel like the angels fell from heaven because of one their rebellion of God, and two, their rebellion of His creation, which is, you know, us humans. Because us humans are actually placed higher than the angels. You know, we're the highest creation of all of God's creation, which includes the angels. So I feel like those ones that were the ones that went with Lucifer when he fell, they took that hate and that disdain and amplified it too as well for us, because of, you know, them feeling angelic and being lowercase g gods. Essentially, they probably were jealous that God created such a being to be above them, such a being that they probably looked at as being gullible, easily manipulated, and just not at all holy, and not at all holy and created in God's image as divinely as the angels are. You know, I would say we're created in His image in a, you know, a humanly lower tier level of divineness manner, while the angels, you know, they have special abilities, special roles, special all that good stuff, and are up there in the heavenly council with our Father in heaven. So you know, I think that's why they hate us so bad. That's why those demons who were once fallen angels hate and have that hate for humans so bad because of that, man. So that's just my hypothesis on it.
Hate would feel like love compared to the hatred that they have for us. Literally. Yeah. But as I looked at the pits and the people, some of them were like charred skeletons, burned up skeletons. Some of them had flesh hanging off of them. Okay. And the thing is, they were trying to crawl out. And now, I mean, because once you get there, you know that you know pretty much everything. You can see a person in hell and know why they're there.
Oh, wow.
There's no time there. There's no time that you have to take to learn, because everything is connected. So you know that you know. And they were there to guard the people from coming out the pit. They had these spears and these ancient things, and people were trying to crawl out. They were sticking them, grabbing them, especially the big giant, grabbing them and throwing them right back into the pits and the lava. I mean, and then what got me though, like I was saying before, I forgot to mention, was the screams and the yells. Okay, it moves your spirit. The sense of the way these people were screaming and in agony and the regret and the pain, it is beyond comprehension. Even right now as we speak, that place is going on right now. And that's what reminds me every day. It's happening right now as we speak. People are there right now, and it's so many people. It is so many people. But as I'm trying to get up and I look, and I'm looking at these pits, and I'm just, now I thought I was already scared and full of anxiety. Nah, it's just beyond. It keeps growing. There's no limit to fear in the spiritual realm. Just when you think, okay, I'm maxed out of my anxiety. I'm maxed out on my no. It keeps growing and it doesn't stop. There's no limit to how fearful you become. You know, I'm trying to get up. Then all of a sudden I felt something grab my head and I can see the claw. This thing had to be huge and it threw me. And when it threw me, I mean, the strength of this thing, it was like me picking up this pen and throwing this pen. It was like it was nothing. So I don't care what people say. Oh, I will go in down there and I'll fight. No, I'm sorry. No, it's not happening. I don't care if you're the strongest man on earth. You have nothing.
It's like you had no control, right? You have no control.
You have no control. You have no strength. It's like you didn't eat in months. You don't have no nutrients, no kind of muscle, none of that. That's out the window. That comes from God. And everything, nope, that's not there. So you can try your best if you want to, and there's nothing going to happen. So as I got hit this wall. But now as I noticed, Lord had to be with me because I didn't feel, because of the force that I was thrown, I would have felt, I knew I was going to feel the pain. Because one thing I'm going to explain to everyone, like I explained before, my testimony is that here on the body, we have a nervous system, right? So if I was to touch you and just pinch your hand, you would feel it only on your hand. In the spirit world, there's no such thing. If you get hit in the hand, you feel it through your whole body simultaneously at the same time. You won't feel it just in an isolated place where you got pinched. You will feel it all at one time from your head.
So pain also is more intense as well.
By a million. And that's an understatement. It is, see, because the spiritual world is people don't understand. Everything here physical is the leftovers from the spiritual world. That's why the Lord said your thoughts are more realer. That's why you get judged by your thoughts.
Wow, man, that's something I've heard too as well, studying near-death experiences, that your senses and everything is heightened in the spiritual realm, man, from your visuals to the smell and to what you can touch and feel. Everything is heightened. So, of course, pain is going to be heightened. And like he said, everything else is stripped away from you. All the good stuff from God is stripped away from you. So imagine all the good stuff from God being stripped away from you and all the bad things that you are left with being enhanced times a million. And you're in a place where demons are torturing you. You're being thrown around and a lot of craziness, man. It's shocking, and it's very, and it shows the righteousness and how just our God is, man. Because if you want to be away from him and decide to, to live a life of evil and depravity and debauchery and just cause so much havoc and pain in other people's lives, man, there's a place for you. So it's crazy.
Because that's what the real is. It's not, your action is just a reflex of your thoughts. So now I know what the Lord means by that, because the spiritual is way more realer than this. Everything here physical is leftovers from the spiritual world. That's why I say the pain is more real. Your senses are more heightened. Everything is more intense, way more intense. Okay. Now, that's why I say when I got flung and I knew the Lord was there with me, is because I didn't feel, I expected so much more pain, but it wasn't. I felt pain, but it wasn't what I knew in my mind where I was calculating that it should be. But as I look up, I'm on the side and it's like a stone mountain, but in the mountain were jail cells, rows and rows of these cells as far as your eye can see up. Like, and I grew up in skyscrapers my whole life, and I know what it is to live in the sky, literally. But these things were so high, like they were built into the side of a mountain, and there were rows and rows of cells, like the old cells, not like the modern day jails with the door with the slit. No, the bars, and they look ancient, rusty. But instantly I knew, all of a sudden I started looking, and you can see people, activities in all of these different cells. But then it would be like 3 feet apart, it'd be stones, another cell. Stones, another cell. Stone, 3 feet apart, like just estimating 3 to 2
and all the way up.
All the way up. The same way I saw the pits all the way going across, these were all the way up as far as my eyes can see. Literally. Like I couldn't even see it no more, but you can still see cells. And instantly I knew these were ancient. I knew that the people were there for thousands of years. Thousands of years. I mean, I'm talking about biblical times. They've been in there since. You know, people can't even imagine because time, see, like we're so used to time here. You can't imagine no time. There is no time there. Time stops. There is no time in the spirit world. It doesn't exist. Time is only used in the physical manifestation for us to organize things and keep schedules. It doesn't exist. All hope is gone when you're there. There is no, at least, like for example, I was explaining back when I used to live my back life, because I did go to jail a couple of times. I was in jail. Okay. I had hope because I had an out date. Right. So you say, okay, I'm getting released in 8 months. That gives you some hope that I'm getting out of here in 8 months. But when you're in hell, there is no out date. There is no time. There is nothing no schedule. There is none that's gone. You know you're there. And the worst part is, I knew I deserved to be there. That was the thing that really got me. I had no rebuttals for me not being there. Okay?
So you weren't crying for mercy, you weren't calling out to God, nothing like that?
No. And that's another thing. See, the people don't understand. The things that I was hearing, you had a lot of people calling out to God. You had a lot of people asking for 5 more minutes, 1 more chance. Please, I'm sorry. Let me make it up to you. Can hear everything. That's another thing I want to add. Remember I was talking about the 5 senses being heightened? You can hear everybody screaming at one time, but you can individualize every person. You can individualize every scream. You can individualize. But then I heard a lot of blasphemous things towards God. I heard a lot of anger, a lot of cursing God out. I heard a lot of big time. People were angry.
Only people were making sounds. The demons weren't making any sounds, or whatever those creatures were.
Demons, yeah. Oh, that was, I was going to get to that. When the demons were communicating with each other, they have their own language. And their whole language hurt my body every time they talked. Every time they talked.
So you never understood what they were saying?
Oh, yeah, you understand everything. I'm going to use the term, you overstand everything that they saying. What they was communicating back and forth, they were calling us stupid humans. When they were grabbing and torturing humans and doing all type of things, they were calling us stupid and they were laughing. They laugh, they enjoy it. Because what I found out and what I saw myself through my experience is that they get energy off our pain. They eat it. It's a form of food to them. It's like a drug to them. They get high off of it. That's why they're here on earth. They keep us depressed, angry, full of anxiety, because they're feeding off that. That's their food. They literally eat that. So they cause situations for you to feel that way so they can eat. They eat off that. And in hell, they have an abundance, nonstop supply of food because all they do is torture. They say if your arm gets ripped off, your arm will grow right back. Rejuvenate. And it happens over and over and over again. Like I say, I saw tons of people there where they were ripping over their mouth and pouring hot lava down their throats. They'll melt and they'll come right back and they'll do it all over again. And then they invite other demons to come and get their turn. Like I was also mentioning about promiscuous women who were there and men. But I saw my experience. I saw majority of what I saw with the women being raped by demons. This one lady was being raped and tortured so bad sexually that I'm not going to say it on here, but it's beyond horrible. But I'm talking about, it's and then some of the tortures are so bad. I still to this day, I can smell a certain smell, especially matches. I don't like the smell of matches at all because it brings me back to that. It reminds me of that. Yeah, it does. Like PTSD big time.
Whoa, guys, man, wow. I'm gonna wrap it up there and encourage you guys to go watch the full video in its entirety and hear this gentleman's testimony, man, because that is a wild description of hell and what takes place there, man, and the entities that are walking around, man, and how your body is stripped of certain things that we would take for granted here on earth, man, because of you falling and being as furthest away from God as you can. And it's intense, and it only gets wild from here, guys. So I definitely recommend you guys watch the full video in its entirety. Link in the description, and definitely give No Christ a subscribe to their channel and support them if their content blesses you. I would say it's a scary thing to think about and to understand the eternal significance of where your soul is placed at, whether that's in heaven or whether that's hell. So while you're here on earth, I recommend living the best life that you can and following Jesus. Jesus Christ, guys. But with that being said, guys, pray for the channel No Christ. Pray for Mr. Dominic Morrow, guys. Pray for our channel. And guys, we are praying for you. Thanks again for another video.